violent night across the Seattle area, including 2 shootings, sending people to the hospital.
A 50-year-old man was just found dead after a shooting.
Police say all 3 people were shot in their legs.
The question I think a lot of people are wondering is what can be done here?
As we treat this disease of violence, we have to make sure that these violence interrupters, who are really a new kind of public health worker, out in the streets, risking their lives, literally ducking bullets, that they have the best tools. And one such worker is Dominic Davis, founder of Community Passageways, who's a part of this regional peacekeepers collective that's doing this.
Hit me with that text. 30 Days of Peace was launched out of me feeling like we're in 911 mode. So many of our young people are dying weekly. We just had 2 funerals on Saturday, back to back. This is what's happening on a regular basis. This has become normal. The 30 Days of Peace initiative is taking 2 warring groups that have been at war with each other for a very long time. Lots of death and destruction has happened behind this war. We're taking them to 2 different states away from each other. And while they're at these different states, we're gonna do programming with them. If we can get their focus 8 to 10 hours a day doing something positive, that's 8 to 10 hours a day that people ain't driving around with guns.
So let's talk about this trip. What y'all feel? What keeps me in the work is the victories we get, right? You know what I'm saying? It's hard. This work is hard. It's challenging. It's emotional to build a bond with a young person and he goes to jail or dies. But it's rewarding when that doesn't happen. So that's what keeps me in the work. The violence, it knocked on our front door back in March.
40 people were meeting inside Emerald City Bible Fellowship when police say a man opened fire on the gathering.
The suspect was not a part of that meeting. He came into the meeting.
To me, it seems like from there, we just been taking hit after hit this whole summer of young people losing their lives. And they were young, 22s, 24s, young men losing their life, and we just can't sit around and not do nothing, so we're trying something.
Goal is the 30 Days of Peace. A lot of these guys have friends they lost over these last 12 months. They still are feeling pain, grievance, remorse, revenge. So the goal is just to stop the perpetuated cycle of violence that's happening right now.
The ambassadors from Community Passageways and our partner organizations are gonna come down to be support systems, support teams, life coaches, and as they go through the process alongside these young people, they get to see people that look like them, that are men who went down the same path, have served time in the joint, going through the same process of healing, which will inspire them to feel like they can go through it too.
Everybody has a story. The blessing that I love is that I get to be a part of the and then. Your story can be, you guys all have an and then. I did some dirt and I got locked up and I'm out. And then I went to California, right? And then I had my daughter. And then I got out. And then I changed. And then I grew. And then I developed. And then I made that money. And then I read that book. And then we all have a story. And we can't change all of those chapters of the story that led up to now, and some of that stuff was horrible and not our fault. But we are now a part of the and then, and we do have a choice today.
Appreciate y'all.
It feels good to be out here because I don't got to worry about no issues in the streets. I don't got to worry about nobody I just don't got to worry about shit. Nobody could succeed when everybody just pulling each other down. So this trip right here is just to, you feel me, get us away from all the negativity.
Everybody has to be at every session, period. I brought a bunch of people as a support system and a support team to be with these cats and support these cats, build relationships with these cats, and walk it out with them. Get tight with them. Because when we get back, there's jobs waiting on them. There's training waiting on them. And we gotta have a support system around them. Everybody needs to be at every session. Not one person needs to leave to go somewhere. There's gonna be a list of responsibilities. And I'm checking off when people ain't doing what they're supposed to do. Because I don't care. I'll send people back home and just pay you however long you've been here. I'll prorate it and pay you for whatever I owe you and send you back home. I'll buy a ticket. I don't care. I don't care. Because I'm not letting this fail, and it definitely ain't gonna let us to make it fail.
What we've been doing since we've been here is getting them prepared mentally, like, look, this ain't just kicking it, you know, because then it's a vacation. Oh my God, they're gonna pay us. Nah, you're gonna be able to do things, but this is our schedule. So just getting their mindsets ready for that.
Right, and so every day you have to put a value on yourself to really understand, like, yo, did I put in the work today? Did I do what I needed to do? Did I at least plant seeds? Like, what am I gonna be able to cultivate from what I did today, tomorrow, right? So the reason why I wanna make sure I'm talking to you guys, I'm giving back to you guys, is so I can trim that learning curve that took me 31 years, maybe now it takes you 3. Exactly. Right? Yeah. So all it is about leverage, accessibility to information, and then how to utilize the information.
The strategy for getting them into the deeper thinking, right? First, let's build a relationship. Let's get to know where you're at. I can't take you somewhere else if I don't know where you begin. We'll be able to start peeling off some of them layers and getting to know who's really under there. When the streets got a hold of you, there's something you're holding on to. The hope is that the shift changes, that where they go back to their community, the things that was appealing are not so much appealing. Not saying that 30 days or 3 weeks is gonna change that, but the hope is that it shifts so everything is not the same.
I just got done walking off 24 years in prison. I've known some of these guys, you know what I mean, from doing the things that lead you to prison or just being in prison. And like I said, this is kind of a field study, gives us the opportunity to provide some testimony and let people know, I wish I had this opportunity.
I grew up in the city with a lot of these guys. Gang bang, went to the penitentiary, did it all. But unfortunately, I'm a girl. So you don't think that, but we do. And it's, you know, here to show these guys that something's different, that the world is out there, is bigger, and it has a lot more to offer them than violence and everything else to come that we think is norm, and it's not norm.
With Brandon, I grew up with him. We used to steal clothes for school clothes. Like, that's how we had school clothes we stole. So I went to prison. 15 years is what changed me, prison. And I get out and I see him doing the work. And then he's like, come on. And then I'm doing the work. So it's reach one, pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we can stop these guys from going to prison, we save some lives.
The thing that trips me out about these young men versus us is we didn't lose as many friends as they have. And you know, they're losing friends at a way higher volume than us. I went to therapy. The therapist dude was like I told him about the first person I remember passing and how old I was. And he was like, man, I just lost my first friend. I'm 37. And he was like, so it's normalized to us. That's not normal. Death should not be normal like that. Them guys realizing there's hope, hopefully you can rechannel that mindset and be like, oh, well, we can do X, Y, and Z, and it's right here, and it's readily available. Like, it's a difference having the information and then not being able to apply it versus having the information and it being applicated as soon as you gain the information. That's changing lives right off the top. Just knowing, okay, if I focus, it can happen. If we had that, oh yeah, a lot of us wouldn't be talking to you right now. That's a fact.
This voter from Hillman City, they believe gun violence just hasn't received nearly enough attention from city leadership in the last 5 years. They're asking, what will you do to address this issue, particularly in the South End, where shootings are taking the lives of teenage and young people of color at an alarming rate?
We're dealing with drastic and desperate situations, so our moves to change them have to be just as drastic. We can't use the same old methods. And we can't keep saying the same old thing. Hey, man, you need to change your life and work on your resume and, change the people you're around. Yeah, like that doesn't work. We shouldn't have to leave town and be somewhere else to relax and breathe. The people that we're not familiar with and don't get along with really ain't our enemies. They just going through pain too. And they just from the other side of town. And it's just that, and things have gotten to a point where it's like, people just don't know how to deal with their pain outside of creating more pain.
30 days of peace, no violence. No violence, no shooting, no sliding. All positivity. We got Matt and Devin coming right here.
Matt? Oh, yeah.
I was second generation gang member. Grew up on the east side of Tacoma. Me and my brother, we took another person's life. Yeah, man, I went away for that for a while. I was 17 years old. My brother was 15 years old. He's still inside right now. Yeah, man, we're here just to have a conversation, build relationship. Restorative justice is all about relationship. It's all about centering folks' needs, man. Yeah, what do I need? What do you need? That's what it's all about.
We don't come here as if we're here to teach you anything. We're just here to have a conversation because we believe that all of us have the answers to our problems, right? It's just how do we do it collectively and draw from one another, each other's wisdom. Healing isn't about feeling better. It's just about learning how to get better at feeling. We all are the way we are because of the things that we've experienced in our life that we didn't ask for to happen. Your first experience with trauma wasn't causing it, Some shit happened to us and we showed up a certain way because of it. And once I began to realize that, I was given space to make different decisions and have people that would support me in that. That's something that definitely, I know I'm interested in, I'm sure Matt is like really wanting to be able to support y'all so that if the time does come or you guys want to continue to build, that we know how to do that. And like, we don't know your needs, but you do. But being able to know what that is so that we can provide the support that you need is really important.
What do you think they're asking for? Who heard hugs? I think the main thing that drew me here is because I wish I did have this opportunity. I did have that sudden change, but it wasn't on the streets. It was prison. And you quickly realize I gotta become better when I get out of here. That's what I'd like for them to understand and not have to go through the same things that I went through. So for me, my aha moment, yeah, it was dramatic, but I couldn't do anything about it. And that was the most torturous thing in my life. Just caged ambition. I wanted change. I'm reading books, I'm working out, I'm doing everything you can. I'm a different person. And that's where that patience comes in. You have to be ready for when somebody is ready to make that full change. They may make slow changes. Okay, I won't hang out on the corners no more. You know what I mean? I won't go to the clubs no more. I won't do certain things, but that dramatic change, like, man, I need to change all of this. I need to break generational patterns and stuff like that. It's not gonna happen easy. It's not quickly. For me, it was. I wish that it was like that for everybody, but I can't wish them to go through the same thing that I endured. Because that, you know what I mean? I don't want that. And that's kind of why I'm here, to avoid that.
This part of the game is halftime. We're in halftime right now. So there's a whole nother half. And if anybody knows, you got to close out the second half strong. If we're up, We got to get, like, I've always been played against with teams that we're going to run the score up. We're not going to be modest. You know what I mean? I don't care if we're up 14. I'm trying to be up 48. So, yeah, we got to make sure we blow them out. And that comes with, but see, the best part about it is now the players are buying into what the coaches and the team are saying. So it ain't going to be no more of those on-field audibles. You know what I mean? None of that quarterback keepers. When I just said, man, it was a screenplay. And you cap it. Just, everybody's buying. So it should be a smoother second half. Because everybody's like understanding, okay, hold on. These guys they care about us. And hold on. We can do this, that, and the third. Like when they heard about real estate yesterday and was like, ooh. And what's missing from it as far as like people of color? 2-3 people instantly stayed back to talk to her. When the therapist was here, people were staying back to talk to them. So how can I get to talk? They might be secretive with it, but they're still, their minds are changing.
The neighborhoods have changed, from when we were kids, and that person next door was your uncle or your auntie, and the respect was like that. They'll whoop your butt like they was your uncle or your auntie.
And take you home.
And so their kids became your nieces and nephews and cousins, and so everybody was always related in a community. And when these guys don't have that neighborhood, they took the neighborhood part out of it, and it's just a hood.
You can't discipline no more.
It's just a hood now. Because they don't have the aunties to tell them nothing, the uncles that are just their neighbors, but just people that they know in the community. By taking them out here and letting us spend time with them, we're showing them that, hey, we can be the big brothers, the uncles, the aunties. Yeah. Just trust us, because we done made some of the mistakes you on your way to making, and we done did some of the stuff you done did. We trying to show you that there's a better way, and now they can see it.
For me, it was real bad. Because I was born, I grew up in dope houses, you know what I'm saying? So that's really all I knew. And then anytime you could think different, they say if you want better, you'll do better. But if you can't think outside to do better, how are you gonna do it?
Right. Like when we had that debate, they was like, man, well, you don't know what it's like, because even if I'm not doing something, I gotta worry about somebody shooting me. I said, well, the number one thing is to stop just thinking like that.
Yeah.
Because you creating it just by thinking it. You thinking it, so you're choosing to see those type of opportunities versus the other opportunities. Because look, when you're out here, you don't got no gun, and you ain't thinking about nobody with no gun. You thinking about doing other things, having fun, buying your sister something, buying your mom something. That's what you're thinking about. That's who you naturally are.
I was offered this type of work a couple years ago, but I wasn't ready for it. 30 Days of Peace is more about reflecting on yourself. Each one of us have a significant amount of trauma in our life. 30 Days of Peace is not just for the clients. 30 Days of Peace is for everybody that's involved in 30 Days of Peace. These resources and these trainings are not just for the clients, but they're also for the employees too, because we're all in transition too. So as we transition into this new space of constructiveness and being able to give back to the community, at the same time we have to build relations with the community so that we can understand what resources they need. The ones that's down here now has made the first step changing the direction of their life. And that's a start, The real work starts when we get back to Seattle.
All hold on to that. All of our feelings are okay, but we gotta be careful what we do with them. I'm just asking everybody just slow down just a little bit in here.
Our community is unsafe for our young black people. It's time for us to start doing something different. When we bring these young people back, if we just get 10 of them full-time jobs and good housing situations, we did great. That every penny was worth it. The words don't need to be, we took these black kids out of the community and let's see if we can get lower shootings happening. The words need to be, what is your responsibility as a politician? What is your responsibility as a business owner? What is your responsibility as a housing institution? We got 16 lives that's being saved right now. 16 lives. How much is that worth? You tell me a value of how much 16 lives is worth. And now we're stepping in saying the community has the answers.
community healing community, period.